Om Namah Shivaya. Episode 73, Chapter 13, verses 7 to 11. The means of knowledge, Jnanam. To Arjuna's question, what is Jnanam? The obvious meaning is knowledge. But here, Jnanam is also used to mean the means of knowledge. Only when our intellect and minds are established with certain values and attitudes, we will be able to understand and convert the knowledge of Brahman, Jnanam, into wisdom. In verse 7, Sri Krishna lists 9 values and attitudes. First, absence of conceit, amanitvam. We must not demand self-praise or make our virtues be known to others and demand respect for them. Many of our problems are due to others not acknowledging our accomplishment. Demanding recognition is an emotional problem, and only when we put aside this demand and commit ourselves to gain the knowledge of Brahman, and when it is converted to wisdom, we discover that we are more than the self-praise that we demanded for. Second, absence of hypocrisy, adambitvam. When we pretend, it means we do not accept ourselves as we are. When we do not accept ourselves as we are, even when others accept us, we will not feel accepted. This problem gets resolved when we accept ourselves as we are and commit ourselves to gain the knowledge of Brahman. And when it is converted to wisdom, we discover that we are more than what we pretended to be. Third is harmlessness, ahimsa. Do not hurt another being. This begins with our own body and it extends to all living beings, including animals and plants. Ahimsa is to be interpreted from time to time and situation to situation. The fact is, we must not deliberately, for our own sake, hurt another being. When we enjoy living righteously and let others enjoy their lives, then practicing ahimsa becomes very simple. Fourth, accommodation, shanti. When we are harmed in any manner, there is a natural impulse to retaliate. Reaction occurs when we internalize the behavior of others. The reality is we are responsible only for our own emotions and actions. And we must learn to accept people as they are without internalizing their behavior. Fifth, straightforwardness. Alignment of our thoughts, words, and deeds. Arjavam. All our actions must be in keeping with our words, and our words must be in keeping with our thoughts. Practicing this keeps our mind peaceful to contemplate upon the knowledge of Brahman. 6. Reverence for the teacher, Acharyo Pasanam. We must have love and respect for the teacher and faith, Shraddha, in the Shastra. This will suspend our ego for our mind to contemplate upon the knowledge of Brahman and convert it to wisdom. 7 is external and internal cleanliness, saucha. External cleanliness is when we keep our body, clothes and environment clean. Internal cleanliness is keeping our mind free from anger, jealousy, fear, etc. One way of practicing internal cleanliness is the practice of Pratipaksha Bhavana, where we deliberately cultivate feelings like love and compassion when negative feelings arises. 8th is steadfastness, steria. When we are certain that moksha is our purpose in life, and when we get committed to it, all our actions becomes yoga in harmony with dharma. And 9th is self-discipline, atma vinigraha, disciplining our body, mind, senses and using that energy to pursue the knowledge of Brahman. This means our priorities are clear, we have self-discipline. In verse 8, Sri Krishna lists 3 more values and attitudes. First, dispassion with reference to sense object, indriya teshu vairagya. Dispassion is not an aversion, but an intelligent evaluation of sense object. We can still have desires for sense object, but there is no longing, as we know that no sense object can solve all our problems. This brings about certain objectivity to neutralize our desire for sense object and desire for freedom, moksha. Then life becomes a process of learning, gaining the knowledge of Brahman, jnana, to become wise. Second, absence of pride, anahankara. Here, anahankara is used in a limited sense, absence of pride, and not as ego, the I sense. What makes us proud is arrogance born of ignorance, not knowing that everything is given by Ishvara. When we understand this, there is absence of pride, and this appreciation converts us into an inquirer, a jignasu, to be committed to gain the knowledge of Brahman for moksha. Then we become a learning person, a doing person, an enjoying person, nothing else. There is no pride. This is anahankara in the limited sense. Third, seeing very clearly the pain in birth, death, old age and disease. Janma, mrityu, jara, vyati, dukkha, dosha, anudarshana. Seeing very intimately the limitation of all this. Thereby, the desire for moksha becomes very predominant. We are not cultivating a negative view of the natural processes of life, but seeing the limitation of human condition and making the best use of the fact that we are alive and functioning now, to have a positive outlook towards the present moment. In verse 9, Sri Krishna lists 3 more values and attitudes. First, absence of any sense of ownership, asakti. The fact is, there is no such thing as ownership, only temporary possession. Everything is given by Ishvara and can be taken away anytime. We are only the managing trustee of our body, mind, senses and a few possessions we have. This is a matured, objective way of seeing the facts of life for healthy, peaceful living. Second, absence of excessive attachment to son, wife, and house. Anabhishvanga putradara grahadishu. This does not refer to simple affection, but affection with excessive emotional dependence. We must know how much care we should give and when the care must stop. When love and care causes any pain, it is attachment, not caring. There is a very fine line between attachment and caring, and our reaction are its indicators. Third, we must always have evenness of mind regarding the gain of the desirable and the undesirable. Nityam cha samachit tattvam ishtanishto prapattishu. When we have a composed mind, it does not matter whether the situation is desirable or undesirable. This composed mind is born out of our acceptance of Ishvara in our lives that brings about the prasada buddhi, knowing that every situation is given for us to act and the result comes from Ishvara. This is not an ordinary attitude, yet there is no other way of bringing about evenness of mind. In verse 10, to prepare us for meditation and contemplation, Sri Krishna says, first, in me, Ishvara, we must place our unswaying devotion. Maicha Bhakti Avya Vicharani, with an understanding that there is no one superior to Ishvara, Ananya Yogena. This devotion is to Ishvara, who is the creator, sustainer, and dissolver of this creation, who is limitlessness, all-knowing, all-powerful. We begin by meditating upon Ishvara as separate from ourselves, Sa Guna Brahma. And as we progress, we contemplate upon Ishvara as our true self, Nirguna Brahma. Ishvara alone becomes our refuge and end of our pursuit, moksha, for which we need the knowledge of Brahman, Atma Jnanam. Second, to study and meditate upon Atma Jnanam, we need a quiet and an undisturbed place. Vivikta Desha Sevitva. Third, we must not long for the company of people. Arati Jana Samsati. When we enjoy quietude and solitude, we gain a cheerful mind. And with a cheerful mind alone, we can study, meditate, and contemplate for our minds to be absorbed in the knowledge of Brahman, Tattva Jnanam. In verse 11, we must know that this knowledge, Tattva Jnanam, comes only from the Shastra, and we need a teacher to teach us. Here Sri Krishna teaches, first, always dwell upon the knowledge that Atma is Brahman. Adhyatma Jnana Nityatva. This involves 3 steps. First is Shravana, listening and asking questions as the teacher unfolds the Vedanta Sastra. And the ultimate knowledge is the Mahavakya Tattvamasi, we are that. Second is manana, reflection, using our intellect to reason and eliminate all doubts. Third is nididhyasana, contemplation, to eliminate all habitual erroneous notion that obstruct this knowledge. The knowledge of the truth, tattva jnana, is the means for maturity. When these values are in place, Vedanta Sastra will give the knowledge. And because of the Vedanta Sastra, the values also become mature and knowledge fructifies. This reciprocal relationship increases our clarities. These are the two wings of the same bird. Second, constantly keeping moksha in view, artha darshana, seeing very clearly that freedom is what we are seeking. Then our commitment to this knowledge, tattva jnana, is firm. This is the final and the most important value given in this section. Third, summing up this section, Sri Krishna says, all these 20 values and attitudes given are the means for the knowledge of Brahman. Etat Jnanam iti proktam. And fourth, having said it positively, now Sri Krishna says it negatively. That which is opposed to this knowledge is ignorance. Ajnanam yatato jnata. At verse 11, we shall take a break, and next Sri Krishna is going to teach us about the knowledge of Brahman. So till then, Om Namah Shivaya.